Spidey's track guide for Laguna Seca, round 1 of the Race on Oz Season 2 for Project Cars 2. In these track guide videos, I'm going to try and cover a few things to help any and all, especially if you don't get on to do a lot of practicing. First up would be fuel, but we don't have to worry about that this season as fuel burn is off, so that's all we need to talk about. Tyres. You will be starting on a set of hard slicks, and these will get you to the end of the race if you don't want to use the 24 odd seconds in the pits to put a new set on. My practice run had me with about 66% left on the fronts and 80% left on the rears. I haven't locked in a strategy yet whether I'm going to change tyres, but that's up to you on whether you think you can get to the end of the race with those tyres with competitive times as well. Track temps. Qualifying will be the hottest at 34 degrees. The start of the race gives us 32 degrees and this dips down to 30 degrees around lap 8. I recommend you do some driving in this temp range as the track grip is reduced in these cooler temps, and it caught me out plenty of times during my practice sessions, which leads on to the next point, off-track practice. Now, not a lot of people practice this, but at some point in the race you might go off track. And it's best to know how your car is going to react on Laguna's sand and dirt parts compared to the grass on other tracks. So give yourself a little bit of off-track practice on powering through a section if you get offline, and also if you spin it and you need to come back to the track at very low speed. This could save you a heap of time and a few circles on the off-track donuts. Pit practice. We've got mandatory pits for this season, so get comfortable with finding the pit entry, working out your braking point so you don't cop a pit lane speeding penalty, and the pit exit. The one thing that may change will be your pit box location. I think this is determined on when you enter the lobby, so just make sure you check this out when you exit the pits in qualifying. Turn-in points and then onto a flying lap. You may have different braking and turn-in points than me, but make sure you use something that is static and that can be seen no matter if there is a car in front of you or if the trackside brake markers have been smashed to bits. An example of this is turn 2, where I've taken out the brake markers. If you are only using them and they aren't there the next lap around, you may miss the braking point and cause yourself some dramas. Alright, and next up is brake points and turn-in points. So turn 2, you can see the end of the ripple strip on the right hand side. Turn 3, we've got on the right hand side of the track, we've got a white concrete marker there for the turn-in point. Turn 4, again, white concrete marker on the right hand side where the arrow is. That is the turn-in point for me. Now this one here is a double banger. So the first one, right hand side, white concrete marker, that's my braking point. And the second one further down there where you can see white concrete marker, that's a guide for when I want to turn in. So I don't use it as a solid turn-in point, just a guide for when I need to. Next up, going over the hill, turn 6, blind corner. It can be difficult if you're following a car very closely or if you have one right behind you. I use the white concrete marker on the right hand side. You can see the theme here. I use that. Once I get past that, I turn in left and I'm good to go. Next up, going over the hill, blind braking point here. So turn 8, I use these markers on the left and right hand side of the road for when my car is past them and when I think the back wheels are close enough in line with that. Next up, again, this one here is a kind of feel by the track. I use the left hand side marker here as a guide when the concrete changes color from the white then to the solid gray. All right, coming up to the second last corner. Now I've got braking point and turn-in point is the very start of the ripple strip on the left and the last corner. This is a bit of a weird one. So if there's no car in front of me, I try and use the arrow which is in the middle of the road, which is the dark part of the asphalt. If there is a car in front of me, I try and look for the very first part of the ripple strip on the right, and I try and make sure my back wheels are about there, and then I start to brake down. And that's it. What I'll do is we'll have the full flying lap right up now.